Well, hello everybody. Greg coming here with Take 5 and Stellar. We're spending some time just to pause and consider the Lord and investigate some more of the Word of the Lord. It's a very exciting journey we're on at the moment. And we pick up the story in Genesis chapter 12, verse 8. And it says, "And he moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord." So let's look at this, like we did with Shechem. Let's look at Bethel. It's a very important place. Um, it's literally pronounced not Bethel, of course. It's pronounced Beit El, which literally means the house. Beit El, God, Beit El, the house of God. And there's been so much controversy about this city and its location. But there is no discrepancy about its importance. Apart from Jerusalem itself, Bethel or Beit El is mentioned more times than most other Israelite cities throughout the entire scripture. And why is that? Well, we're going to take a little time to explore why the city is so important, its rise and its fall. But to start with, it's important to know that it was a key Canaanite city in Abram's time. It wasn't a brand new city, it's what we call a living city. And it lay on the north-south trade route and was a junction for even the east and west traffic. All the north-south ridge roads came together almost like an hourglass at Bethel. You can imagine an hourglass, an egg timer, and it comes big at the top and then it joins in the center, and the grains of sand go through there and then spreads out at the bottom, forms the bottom of the hourglass. That's how all the roads came in and sort of intersected at Beit El. So in future years, this would be like a roadblock. It was used by kings of Israel to prevent God seekers from the northern kingdom from going down to the temple in Jerusalem to worship. But of course, we're going to look at that later. To discover where Beit El is, because there's still much dispute, the Bible gives us so much detailed information. It's as if the Lord wanted us to be able to easily find this city. So over the next few times we get together on Take 5 and Selah, we'll look at how the Bible helps us locate this amazing city with such rich history, and why God let Abram pitch his tent there and build an altar. The first thing we're going to look at in this mystery are the biblical towns that are situated around the Beit El of the Bible. Then we will find the geography mentioned in the Bible to help locate it. And then there's a huge amount of archaeology done. We will use that to pinpoint where exactly it is. So let's look at the key towns or cities around Beit El. And they are on the bottom of the mountain. So Beit El's on the top of the mountains. We talked about it being 880 meters above sea level. On the bottom of the mountains going east, you're going down to the River Jordan. There are the cities of Jericho, and of course Gilgal was the place where the Israelites first congregated when they came across into the Promised Land. On the top of the mountains with Beit El is the city of Ai, spelled A-I. A lot of people call it Ai, but it's actually pronounced I. And there is the Ai, Ai, or the Ai of Abram's day, and the Ai of Joshua's day, which this is confusing. There are two different cities called Ai, but in the same region. There's another city called Beit Aven, or Beit Aven, and Gibeon. So there's some key cities around Beit El which will help us discover where Beit El is. Up until the last few decades, historians and archaeologists have said that they have discovered these cities, but the Bible account doesn't add up to what they found. So more archaeologists have gone out to try and find the real Beit El. Through these old archaeology where nothing seemed to line up, their conclusion was that the Bible was wrong. And many people believe them, and believe it or not, lots of people lost their faith in the Bible because the archaeologists were saying this is Beit El, but it doesn't look like what is described in the Bible. So do you think if someone says, hey, look, this is Beit El, this is Beit Haven, this is Ai, but they don't look like the things in the Bible, do you think that it's the right conclusion then to toss out the Bible? Or, as some very godly men and archaeologists went out, they decided, hang on, the Bible must be true. Let's go and see if we can find the right Beit El. So Don't just throw out your faith because a scientist said, hey, it's this way. The Bible has been proved over and over again to be right, and men have been proved wrong. So what have I also told you that in the last few decades, the latest archaeological digs are revealing previously undiscovered ruins that exactly match the biblical account and remove all the doubt of the Bible's historical accuracy. Would you want to know that? Would that give you confidence in the scriptures that have also told of the coming Messiah, his arrival, his death, his resurrection, his ascension, his return? All of that, can that be trusted if God is truthful and trustworthy in regards to things like where actual cities were and described in the scripture? And do you think it's important to delve into the scriptures at this level of depth to find out the history behind the city of Bethel, for example? If I told you that it's a critical piece of information regarding the fulfillment of biblical prophecy before the return of Jesus, would you still be interested in this subject? Well, we're going to look next time and over the next few Take 5 and Selahs at Abram's eye, because that's going to help us identify Bethel. We're going to look at Joshua's eye and Beit Aven and see if we can find the biblical Bethel. But until then, God bless you. I pray that you still pause and consider it. Just think about the goodness and wonder of God, that even when people say he's wrong, don't leave your faith. Don't start leaving God behind. He's trustworthy right to the end. His word is true. All right, the Lord bless you, and we'll see you in the next Take 5 and Selah. God bless you. Bye for now.